Brothers and sisters of Africa, hear me well tonight. I do not come to speak in whispers. I come to thunder against the betrayal that we see in South Africa. Watch this video till the end. If you love me, you will know the truth. The man who sits in the highest office while his people drown in despair, Cyril Ramaphosa. Yes, I will call his name. I will not fear it, because silence in the face of treachery is complicity. And I, Ibrahim Traoré, will never be complicit in the destruction of Africa by her own sons, who chose to serve foreign masters instead of their people. Ramaphosa has become a living symbol of what happens when a liberation movement loses its soul, when the promises of freedom are exchanged for contracts with foreign companies, when the spirit of Mandela, Biko, and Chris Hani is sold for silver coins. The ANC, once a beacon of African struggle, now crawls on its knees like a beggar, and Ramaphosa is the face of this shame. Look at South Africa today. Do you see prosperity? Do you see liberation? No. You see the collapse of power, of jobs, of dignity. The youth, black youth, the very children for whom blood was spilled in Soweto, wander the streets unemployed, forgotten, disrespected. Meanwhile, Ramaphosa smiles in front of cameras in Europe, shaking hands with men who continue to exploit Africa's minerals, its land, its people. Is this the freedom South Africa fought for? Is this the destiny of the great ANC? No, it is betrayal at the highest level. Ramaphosa, you sit in office as if you are a chief executive of a Western company, not a leader of a proud African nation. You have reduced the ANC into a corporation of corruption, a market where power is bought and sold. Eskom collapses, the lights go out, and South Africans live in darkness while you enrich yourself. Millions are without work, without hope, yet you boast of billions made in your private ventures. How do you sleep at night knowing your people are hungry? How do you wear that smile knowing mothers bury their sons because of crime, because of poverty, because of unemployment? Do not tell me about reconciliation when justice has never come. Do not speak of progress when townships rot. Do not speak of democracy when corruption strangles your institutions. You are a businessman first, Ramaphosa, and that is your curse. You treat South Africa as your farm, the ANC as your company, and the people as cheap labor. You forgot the struggle. You forgot that freedom is not for sale. I say this with fire in my chest. The ANC under Ramaphosa is dead. It is a walking corpse. Once it was a sword against apartheid, now it is a spoon feeding foreign interests. Once it was the voice of the oppressed, now it is the language of the oppressor. South Africa deserved a revolution of minds and of economy, but Ramaphosa gave them trickery, speeches, and empty promises. He stands not as a liberator, but as a gatekeeper for imperialists. You tell the world that you are building a rainbow nation. But what rainbow is this where black South Africans still suffer in the mines like slaves, where their land remains stolen, where their dignity is trampled? What rainbow is this where the white minority still holds the keys to the economy, while the black majority remains chained to poverty? Do you not see, Ramaphosa, that you are nothing but the smiling mask covering the ugly face of neocolonialism? South Africa should have been the economic engine of Africa. It should have stood tall and lifted the continent with its wealth. But under you, Ramaphosa, it crumbles, it sinks. Foreigners take your gold, your diamonds, your platinum, your land, while you beg them for investment. Do you not see the shame? Instead of building Africa's pride, you bow to the West, you beg for loans, you kneel for approval. And to the youth of South Africa, I say, do not be fooled by this man's speeches. He is not your father, he is your betrayer. Rise, question, reject this leadership that sees you as expendable. Ramaphosa fears the fire of young Africans who refuse to accept crumbs. That is why he feeds you slogans while he fills the pockets of his friends. That is why the ANC clings to power through fear, division, and corruption. They fear the day you will say enough. Ramaphosa, listen to me now. Africa has no more patience for weak leaders. We do not need servants of the West. We do not need smiling faces that hide corruption. We do not need cowards who bow when they should stand. You are a coward, yes, I said it, a coward who feared the true revolution, who feared upsetting the white masters, who feared reclaiming the land and the economy for your people. Instead, you chose comfort, you chose compromise, you chose betrayal. When the history of Africa is written, you will not stand among the giants. You will not be remembered as a liberator. You will be remembered as a man who inherited the struggle and squandered it. A man who carried the torch of freedom only to extinguish it for profit. A man who chose to serve capital instead of justice. Do you not feel the shame, Ramaphosa, when you walk in the footsteps of Mandela but drag the chains of corruption behind you? Do you not hear the voices of the martyrs crying out against your betrayal? Chris Hani, who died for the people, would he recognize this ANC of yours? Biko, who spoke of black consciousness, would he not spit on the cowardice of your leadership? The ancestors are watching, and their judgment will be harsh. I say to you, step aside if you cannot lead with courage. Step aside if you cannot serve your people. Step aside if your heart beats only for money and foreign praise. Africa has no time left for men like you. Africa is rising, Ramaphosa, with or without you. And when we rise, we will not rise with cowards. We will rise with lions. Let the people hear me well. It is time to tear down the false gods of politics. It is time to expose the hypocrites who wear the clothes of revolution but live as kings while their people starve. Ramaphosa has exposed himself as such a man, and the ANC under him has become nothing but a relic of betrayal. The youth must not be afraid. The workers must not be silent. The poor must not be patient. Enough waiting, enough hoping, enough begging. Stand up and claim what is yours. Demand leaders who fear no one but God, who serve no one but the people, who bow to no flag but the flag of Africa. I will not sugarcoat it. Ramaphosa, you are a disgrace. You are proof that liberation without economic freedom is nothing. You are proof that when leaders forget their people, the nation dies. But South Africa will not die. Africa will not die. The people will rise, the youth will lead, and they will sweep away the corruption, the cowardice, and the betrayal. Mark my words, the fire that started in Burkina Faso will spread, the fire of resistance, the fire of true independence, the fire of African pride, and when it reaches South Africa, no Ramaphosa, no failing ANC, no foreign master will be able to extinguish it. This is not a warning. This is a prophecy. Africa is awake, and those who betray her will face the wrath of her children. Ramaphosa, your time of pretending is ending. Your mask is falling, and when it does, the whole world will see the coward you truly are. Africa is done with cowards. Africa demands lions. Africa demands leaders who will die before they betray. Brothers and sisters, let me begin by telling you this truth. Betrayal does not come from your enemy. Betrayal comes from the one who stands beside you, the one who carries your hopes, the one who promises to fight for you, but then sells you in the marketplace of the oppressor. And that, my people, is exactly what Cyril Ramaphosa has done. He inherited the torch of the liberation struggle, but instead of carrying it forward to the finish line of freedom, he used it to light the cigars of foreign corporations. He betrayed the struggle, he betrayed his people, and he betrayed Africa. What was the liberation struggle in South Africa? It was not simply about ending apartheid in law. No, it was about breaking the chains of economic slavery. It was about restoring land to its rightful owners, giving the black child dignity, ensuring that those who suffered under apartheid would rise and live free, not just politically, but economically. Freedom was not meant to be a flag in the sky and hunger in the stomach. Freedom was not meant to be a national anthem sung in darkness because Eskom has collapsed. Freedom was supposed to be the reclaiming of power, wealth, and dignity. But Ramaphosa chose another path. He chose the path of cowardice, the path of comfort, the path of selling his people's inheritance to foreign masters. Do you know why? Because he was never a revolutionary at heart. He was always a businessman. And what does a businessman see? Profit, not justice. Contracts, not liberation. shareholders, not citizens. The ANC under him became less a liberation movement and more a corporation